Could have told me we're doing new outfits. Been rocking leaves on my cheeks for 1,000 years.
Oh, I can't believe you're here!
In the weeks after the release of Moana 2, I've had time to review some of the film's biggest twists and surprises. It seems like the writers were aiming for an emotional journey that required the main characters to make significant sacrifices if they wanted to succeed. While Moana gives her life to restore Motufetu, Maui continues to defy Nalo in an attempt to raise the island from the ocean floor. His determination makes him a sitting duck for one of Nalo's lightning strikes, and the attack is so intense that Maui finds himself drained of power. In a terrifying moment, his tattoos are zapped away, showing that Nalo had stripped Maui of his magical abilities. Maui later has his abilities restored, seemingly from the gods who granted them in the first place, but had he remained powerless, the story of Moana 3 could have been something entirely new. In today's video, I'll discuss this alternative storyline and how it would impact Maui's character.
Oh, yeah! Now I just gotta get my baby.
Number 1. Maui learns to be human. When we first meet Maui, he's a demigod without his power. After stealing Te Fiti's heart, he is banished to a desolate island where he lived in isolation, without his magical fishhook to aid his escape. With his abilities dampened and with only his sentient tattoo for company, Maui would have needed to get creative to make life on the island bearable. His experiences prior to meeting Moana were the closest he ever came to living as a true human, but even there he was stronger and more adept at survival than most mortals. If Nalo stripped Maui of his powers, then he would have become human without enhanced strength or invulnerability. One would assume that he would need to eat, sleep, and exercise as much as any human to stay healthy. I suspect that these tasks are things that the gods and demigods alike take for granted, as they often reside in places that wouldn't be sustainable for humans. Without his abilities, Maui would need to resort to a new type of lifestyle. For example, he spent the 3 years between films away on demigod business, as the audience learns, which includes hunting down Nalo and trying to free Motufetu. As a human, Maui wouldn't be capable of traveling distances like a hawk or a shark. Instead, his life would be more stationary, as he would need to put down roots and make a home. He could still go on adventures alongside Moana, but he would need to rely on the current, their ship, and their supplies to maintain himself. There are also many minuscule adjustments to being human that Maui may struggle with. He may find himself hungrier more often or unbearably cold when the sun goes down. He may not be strong enough to push the ship from shore as he once was, and his senses may feel dulled, making it easier for his enemies to corner him. I'm sure that it would be a very uncomfortable transition, and Maui would spend the majority of the next film discovering new hardships and learning to overcome them.
There is a way out. You want to get through it? You just gotta Chi-hu it.
Number 2. Maui must depend on Moana. In the film so far, Maui and Moana have made a fantastic team. During their first adventure, when it was only the pair of them prepared to face down Te Kā, they embraced one another's shortcomings and helped make up the difference. For example, Moana didn't know the first thing about sailing and had to learn from Maui, who is the more experienced sailor. Likewise, Maui had a habit of leaping into danger headfirst and needed Moana to teach him caution. They both ended up bettering themselves during their adventure, and they took these lessons into their following journeys despite parting ways. When they reunite years later, it's clear that Moana's influence has changed Maui for the better. He no longer equates his self-worth to how others view him, and this newfound confidence allows him to flourish. Without needing to worry about his self-image, Maui dedicates his time to protecting humanity. In their journey to stop Nalo, Maui expresses his concern for losing Moana time and again. When they finally reach Motufetu's shores, Maui focuses all his efforts on protecting Moana's ship because he knows he's the one thing standing between her and certain death. Throughout the film, Moana had wished for Maui's help, and in moments where the stakes were high, she had no problem with depending on his strength. However, with Maui losing his status as a demigod, this dynamic would need to change. Neither he nor Moana could trust in his strength to see them through perilous situations. Instead, Maui would need to depend on Moana to keep him safe. Toward the end of the sequel, Moana loses her life when lifting the curse on Motufetu. Yet she is revived by the gods and turned into a new demigod, complete with magic tattoos. While it's unclear what Moana's specific powers are, she likely has enhanced strength, agility, or durability, which will help her protect her crew from threats. Maui may find it difficult to send Moana into danger without backup, but he'll find that he doesn't have a choice.
Because we can use it! Distract Nalo, let him come after us, while Maui reaches the center and lifts the island.
Number 3. Maui tries to get his powers back. If Maui lost his powers for good, I think the experience would cause him to regress. In the first film, we learned that his human parents abandoned him when he was a baby. Instead of letting him die, the gods decided to raise Maui and allowed him to become a demigod. However, he never processed his biological parents abandoning him, which led to Maui's desire to be accepted by humans. His desire ran so deep that he would continuously do things that put him at risk in the hope of gaining more approval. If Nalo succeeded in stripping Maui of his powers, I think he would feel abandoned once more. While it makes sense that his enemy would want to make him weak, I doubt that Nalo is the one who made Maui a demigod in the first place. Maui would likely try reaching out to the gods who raised him, inquiring about his lost power and why it wasn't restored. As he lost his powers when trying to lift Motufetu, not having them restored means that Moana would need to lift it herself, perhaps with the help from her new abilities and her connection to the ocean. Essentially, Maui may find his failure at Motufetu as the catalyst for the gods turning against him. If he believes the gods view him as a failure, he would spend the next film trying to prove his worth. To do so, he would fall back into his previous behavior, including taking unnecessary risks to complete daring feats.
Back off.
Just tell me what it
I
is.
said back off.
Is it why your hook's not working?
Number 4. Maui must find new ways to defeat the gods. When we meet Maui again, he has no reservations about facing the gods. He begins his journey in Moana 2 by confronting Matangi, a fellow demigod from his past. He clearly believes that he has the strength and power to defeat her, only to become trapped within her prison. He spends days trying to escape, and despite being imprisoned, he still has plans to face off against Nalo. Maui has complete confidence in his powers, but without his ability to shapeshift, he would need to find new ways to defeat the gods. He may find that bravery and determination can lead him anywhere, as it has Moana. Personally, I like the idea that he could use his former history and knowledge of the gods to defeat them. If he told Moana about Nalo's weaknesses ahead of time, the duo could still defeat him, potentially exploiting him physically and emotionally.
Rule number 1. You never saw me like this, even though I still look very cool.
You look like a kidney stone.
Number 5. Maui finds family on Motunui. As I've already covered, Maui would need to learn how to exist as a human. However, that goes deeper than adjusting to his new body and its limitations. Despite being raised by the gods, Maui has never mentioned family or the people he grew up with. His character is literally introduced on a deserted island, showing how isolated he is before meeting Moana. For the first time in his life, Maui may find himself in the position to bond with others, something he has been missing for a long time. As a human, he would need to make a home somewhere, and I'm certain that Moana would welcome him on Motunui. Not only is he a hero from their stories, but he is idolized by the islanders. As a member of Motunui, he could become a trusted member of their council, an advisor to Moana, and a friend to all. Moreover, he could form more meaningful relationships, possibly leading to a family of his own. With centuries of adventures behind him, Maui may find that retirement on a beautiful island isn't so bad.
I'm Sumail.
You're her, all right. Let me just,
While Moana 2 did a fantastic job of setting up for the future of the franchise, I think walking back on the main character's consequences was detrimental to the story. When Moana learned that she would need to find Motufetu at the beginning of the film, she had a powerful ballad gripping with the fact that she may not survive the journey. Attempting to save her people from Nalo was always going to come with risks, even though Moana and her crew left their island with good intentions. I understand why Moana's death couldn't be permanent, as she's the titular character of a children's film franchise, but Maui losing his powers could have been a consequence that stuck, pivoting his character in a new and challenging direction.
an island and show this windbag who's boss. Bring the thunder!
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated on our uploads.
It is a curse. The second I took it, I got blasted out of the sky and I lost my hook. Get it away from me.